I remember going into the hospital with Ivy's mum, thinking that this was just going to be the next chapter in my life. I was very ignorant to what was to come. Unfortunately, she was born in a very bad way and she had a terrible start in life. She had seizures, she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, we were told that she would be disabled, the worst fears you could ever imagine. That took a lot of getting used to, and it was, it's hard to explain, it's hard to put into words, because when I do try and articulate what that means, it brings up anger more than anything else. But in reality, it was a difficult time, there's no doubt. So we kind of got used to it and we carried on focusing on making her feel better and looking after her and doing all the things that parents try and do. And she was getting on okay, she was doing well. She was talking a bit and she was doing a little bit of walking and she was able to play a little bit. And I remember being quite sad about it, but I also remember thinking that I could cope with this and it would be okay. And then when she was 2, she got a chest infection, and we put her to bed one night and went to sleep, woke up 8 hours later and found her having a febrile convulsion in her bed that had been going on for 10 hours, and she almost died. And she got secondary brain damage, which left her in a coma and left her fighting for her life in Addenbrooke's hospital for a long time. And when she finally came out of that coma, she was a different child. She couldn't talk, she couldn't see, she couldn't move, and she was in chronic pain for about 4 years. There were days where I thought, there's no way I can cope with this, I can't deal with this, it's impossible, I have to, I wanted to run away, but I couldn't because I loved her so much, so I was kind of stuck in this cycle of anger, fear, depression. And I suppose there were rays of sunshine, so there were support mechanisms that were available to us. And those support mechanisms came in different charities. But the reason I'm sat here right now is because BDCPS have given me enough support that makes me do things that I'm not necessarily comfortable with, i.e. sitting in front of this camera. But it's important that I tell my story because BDCPS need the support. They give me things like advice, they give Ivy play schemes, they give her social agendas, they give her days out, they give me respite. But probably more than that is they give us a network with the other families. I don't socialise with the families on a normal basis, but when I'm in BDCPS or I'm on their schemes or whatever it is, I see the families and we talk and we share and we do things that help each other, and you realise you're not alone, which is the key. For Ivy, she has good friends at BDCPS and she doesn't necessarily see those friends in school or out of school because it's quite hard. The life is difficult. It's not easy to go, well, they can't play themselves. They can't go out and play. They can't have sleepovers. So when BDCPS set up these play schemes or do outings, then it's kind of the social side of it for Ivy. When BDCPS arrange something, they do it so that it is purely focused on what Ivy can do. So this year Ivy experienced speedboating, abseiling. That's just a few things that she done, which I never arranged for her. And I do a lot of wacky things with Ivy, but I never thought that that was a possibility. But mainly, the most important thing is that the sacrifice that BDCPS makes, they don't spend the money on flashy offices or hire cars or expensive coffees. They do it all on a shoestring, and every penny that they get. And the reason that I'm sat here now is to try and get that across, that when you put your hand in your pocket and you spend the money, it goes directly to my daughter and her friends. And yeah, I get a little bit of support because I can go to sleep for an hour and get some rest, but the kids get what they need, and that's the reason why.